Good morning students. Hello friends. Welcome to Ashoka Online Academy. My name is Avinash. So I started the Telangana State Public Service Commission Group-1 mains, science and technology paper for 50 marks. So I have kept the introduction class also about how I approach the science and technology paper for 50 marks in the Group-1 exam of Tspsc. So as part of that particular video, there is a very good response from the student community. We are happy for that, and we have decided to take forward that initiative. So as part of this initiative, what I will do is that some of the science and technology topics, I will make some videos, sample videos, and keep it in the YouTube. So the idea is just if I give some 10 hours of YouTube videos, you will come to know about what is the standard of that particular subject which is taught by me in this particular platform, Ashoka Online Academy. So let us today discuss one of the most important topic in this particular science and technology paper of Tspsc Group-1 mains 50 marks paper. So I will start with the space technologies and understand that very clearly. Let me give some idea about how we proceed for this particular paper. So very simple, just try to understand here. Ashoka Online Academy, in this we are teaching the science and technology for Telangana State Public Service Commission Group-1 mains 50 marks English medium. Group-1 mains 50 marks English medium or English language I will teach in detail. Once we complete the English language, if the response is good from you, then we will try to make the Telugu also. I will only teach that. Why? Because this particular science and technology subject requires a lot of clarity and a lot of basic understanding of the concepts should be very much clear. So I will give the maximum content to you guys who are trying to subscribe to this particular course of science and technology 50 marks Group-1. I believe that science and technology is the main thing or a main subject in entire Group-1 syllabus paper, this and environment. Why? Because these subjects, science and technology, environment, what will happen is that there is no boundary for this particular subject. Always these particular subjects, every day they will evolve. So here this particular science and technology subject, there is no boundary. That means you read this particular topics from this particular book, it is over. No, nothing like that. Why? Because every day or at least once in a week the subject is updated at the national and the international level. For example, if you take the science and technology, and you take space technologies, so today is the 21st September. What is the news related to the space technologies in India? What is the news related to the space technology at the world level? So see here, what is the news related to the space technologies in India? Yesterday, the ISRO commercial arm called as New Space India Limited, it said that we will give the contract for the private and public companies in India to manufacture the Pslv and GSLV, to manufacture the PSLV and GSLV rockets or space launch vehicles. We will give the contract to the public and private parties or companies in India. All these years the ISRO is itself making this particular PSLV, GSLV rockets. Now they said that it is the time to encourage the private space industry in India, and we will give this particular manufacturing of PSLV, GSLV to this particular private and public companies in India. And what ISRO will do? ISRO will focus more on research. ISRO will focus more on future missions. Like we have the future missions like Gaganyaan. We have the future mission to the what you call moon. Okay, so we have the future mission to the Mars. So different missions are there. Okay, we need to what you call compete with the international space agencies like NASA and JAXA of Japan. So ISRO will focus on the research aspects. The manufacturing related things will be going to the what you call, they will give it, the contract will be given to the private space okay, players and public space agencies in India. Understand that very clearly. And what is the space technology related world news? So already you know, Elon Musk, okay, he conducted the Inspiration 4 project. So what is this Inspiration 4 project? First time 4 people who are not astronauts, okay, became part of this Inspiration 4 project. They went to space in the Falcon rocket and they stayed in the space for 3 to 4 days in the low Earth orbit. Yesterday they safely returned to the what you call planet Earth. Okay, so here the Inspiration 4 project aims at encouraging the global private space sector. Understand that very clearly. Okay, and also encourage the space tourism and open the space tourism to the private people in at the global level. All these days the space should be explored only by the astronauts. Now it is the turn for the common people. So this is the space technology related, news in the last 2 to 3 days in the newspapers. So what I am saying is, the science and technology subject, what it will do is that every day it will evolve, like this. Okay, understand this very clearly. Similar is the case with the environment subject. Every day it will evolve. Understand this very clearly. There is no fixed boundaries for these subjects. So the faculty who is teaching them, they should okay, what you call, update the things and teach to you guys. So this is the thing here. Now understand the things here very clearly. So what is the today's agenda of the class? So the today agenda of the class is very simple. I will discuss about what is the okay, rocket. I will discuss about what is the rocket. Okay, it is also called as launch vehicle. I will discuss about the jet plane. And what is the difference between the rocket and the jet plane. Then third, I will discuss the topic about the types of fuels that are used in rockets. Fuels, okay, in the space terminology, you call the fuel as propellant. So what type of fuels we are using in the rockets? Okay, like we have the solid fuel, we have the liquid fuel, and we have the cryogenic engine. So what are these solid fuels, what are these liquid fuels, what are these cryogenic engines? Okay, and how they will be used in the rockets or satellite launch vehicles. Understand this very clearly. These 3 topics I will discuss today. So understand this very clearly. So I believe that science and technology is changing the face of the world. It has changed the face of the world in the past. Now also it is changing, and in future also science and technology will be changing the future of this particular entire humanity and the world for a positive purpose. So as a group 1 aspirant, you should know all these things very well, and so that you can apply in future as an administrative officer. So let us start with this particular topic of science and technology. In this, I begin with this space technology. I begin with what is called as the space technologies. Understand this very clearly. So I begin with the space technologies. In the space technologies, today we will discuss about what is rocket or a launch vehicle, what is a jet plane, and how the rocket and jet plane are different from each other, and what are the types of fuels or propellants that are used in the rockets or launch vehicles. Understand this very clearly. So this will be the first class space technology related class, and let me give some introduction about the space technologies. Let me give some introduction about the space technologies before going to the class. So see here already these contents I will discuss. What is a rocket? Okay, what are the laws that are governing the functioning of rocket? What is a jet plane? Okay, what are the types of fuels? Solid fuel, liquid fuel, cryogenic engines. All these things we will discuss. Before that, I want to give some introduction about the space technologies. That means how or what I will teach as part of this space technologies. So see here space technologies. See here the space technologies. So here you can divide the space technologies into two parts. One is the theoretical part. Second is the application part. Within this application part, you have to learn about the Indian space technologies, and you have to learn about the international space technologies. That means Indian space technologies, you discuss about the ISRO. International space technologies, we discuss about what is called as what you call as this particular about NASA and its mission, JAXA and its missions, European Space Agency and its missions. So all these things we will try to discuss in detail. So very simple space technologies chapter or unit you can divide into two parts. One is theoretical part, second is the application part. In theoretical part you will understand about first topic, what is a rocket, and second is what is a jet plane, then you discuss about the types of fuels. We discuss about the types of fuels that are used in the what you call rockets, and then we discuss about what is called as the launch vehicles. What are the different type of launch vehicles? That are used in India for launching of different type of satellites? Understand that very clearly. So as part of launch vehicles, we discuss about SLV, satellite launch vehicle. We discuss about ASLV, augmented satellite launch vehicle. Then we discuss about PSLV, polar satellite launch vehicle. Then we discuss about GSLV, geosynchronous launch vehicle. Along with that, we also discuss the ramjet. Technology. We also discuss the scramjet technology, and we discuss the avatar. Finally, we discuss about what is called as the avatar program or avatar launch vehicle of the ISRO. So it will be the future launch vehicle. Okay, this is the wonderful concept or idea that ISRO has introduced, and they are working at the prototype level, that is the avatar. So what is avatar? Okay, what is the scramjet based engine launch vehicles? What is this ramjet based engine launch vehicles or rockets? Everything we will discuss as part of the launch vehicles. So understand that very clearly. So after these four topics in the theoretical part, we will discuss about the fifth topic, that is the satellites. We will discuss about the fifth topic, that is the satellites. So in the satellites, we discuss about three types of satellites. One is Earth observation satellites or remote sensing satellites. Second is navigation satellites. What are these navigation satellites? Okay. Then third is communication satellites. Like we have the INSAT and GSAT series of satellites. So what are the GSAT exclusive communication satellite launched by ISRO, dedicatedly used by Indian Army? What is the exclusive satellite launched by the ISRO, communication satellite used by Indian Navy? What is this satellite that is launched by ISRO, okay, which can do the electronic intelligence surveillance via communications? So all these interesting communication satellites like INSAT, GSAT, and you are receiving the TV signals in the Dish TV or Tata Sky. From which communication satellite of ISRO you are receiving them? What is the heaviest communication satellite of India? For what purpose it is being used? All these things we will discuss in part of the satellites. Earth observation satellites or remote sensing satellites. Then navigation satellites, like we have the NAVIC or IRNSS of India, GPS of USA, GLONASS of Russia, COMPASS of European Union, okay, Zenith, quasi-Zenith satellite system of Japan. All these things we will discuss at the national level and the international level. Trust me, it will be the best time in your life. You will be learning something whenever you see my video. There is no doubt about that. If there is useful and informative and very unique thing useful to the students, then only I will teach the class. Otherwise, for the sake of telling the class, I will not tell the class. So understand this, all these things will be there in my class of space technologies as part of the Ashoka Online Academy. Understand that very clearly. Then after the satellite topics, I will discuss about the theoretical concept orbits. So what are these orbits? We have different type of orbits, like we have low Earth orbit, like we have middle Earth orbit, like we have geostationary Earth orbit, and we have halo orbit. Okay, so what are these orbits? There is one more orbit called as geostationary transfer orbit, GTO, which is related with GEO. So exactly what is orbit? Why satellites are placed in orbits? Which type of satellites are placed in low Earth orbit? Which type of satellites are placed in geostationary Earth orbit, and why they are placed in geostationary Earth orbit? Which type of satellites are placed in middle Earth orbit, and what is halo orbit, and what is the geostationary transfer orbit? From the Earth surface, at what height the low Earth orbit is present? From Earth surface, at what height the geostationary Earth orbit is present? So all these things we will discuss. Apart from that, we also discuss the theoretical concepts like the Kessler Syndrome. So what is this Kessler Syndrome? Kessler Syndrome is all about the space debris or space junk. What is this Kessler Syndrome? Who is Kessler? What he said about the space junk or space debris, and what the government of India is doing regarding this space junk or space debris. What the world space agencies are doing. Are there any projects which are working to remove the space junk? Okay, understand this very clearly. So recently the government of India, just 1.5 years back, conducted the operation called as Mission Shakti. So what is this Mission Shakti? It is also called as anti-satellite missile test. ASAT test. So what is this ASAT missile test? How it has created this space junk in the low Earth orbit? Why the NASA has criticized the Indian government regarding this particular Mission Shakti related to the space junk or space debris problem. All these things we will see as part of the theoretical concepts. So are you understanding? The space technologies we will deal in two parts. One is theoretical part, second is application part. In the theoretical part, we will learn about the basics like a rocket. We will learn about what is jet plane. We will learn about what is the difference between rocket and jet plane. We will learn about how exactly the rocket works. Then we will learn about what type of fuels are used or what type of propellants are used in the rockets or launch vehicles. For example, what is the fuel that is used in the Pslv? What is the fuel that is used in the GSLV? What type of fuels are there, chemical fuels as part of the cryogenic engine of GSLV? All these things we will try to understand in the types of fuels or types of propellants where we discuss about, that is the today's topic, solid fuel, liquid fuel, cryogenic engine. Then we discuss about the launch vehicle program of India, where we discuss about two generations of launch vehicles in India. The present generation launch vehicles in India includes SLV, ASLV, PSLV, GSLV. First generation. Second generation launch vehicles are ramjet based launch vehicles, scramjet engine based launch vehicles. What is the difference between ramjet and scramjet? And we have the future India's launch vehicle, that is the Avatar. So what is this Avatar? Exactly how this Avatar launch vehicle will work. We'll try to understand about the Avatar. Then after this we see the satellites. Okay, what are Earth observation satellites and remote sensing satellites? How they will work, what purpose they will be useful, and what are the Earth observation satellites or remote sensing satellites right now currently working in the space and providing services to the government and also the common citizens. All these things we will understand. Then what are the navigation satellites? What is the purpose of navigation satellites? What are the navigation satellites launched by India? And what are the navigation satellites launched by other space agencies? Then communication satellites like INSAT and GSAT series of communication satellites. Okay, so what are these communication satellites? For what type of communication they were used? Okay, they are used for, they are different types of applications. For example, they are used in the mobile, whatever the mobiles we are using right now, it is because of the communication satellite. Whatever the direct to home DTH services you are receiving in your home, it is because of the communication service satellites. Okay, all these things we will learn about INSAT and GSAT series of satellite. Then after that we understand about the orbits related to the concept of satellite. First of all, what is a satellite? What is a natural satellite? What is the artificial satellite? What is the orbit? Definition of orbit. In different types of orbits, low Earth orbit, what type of communication satellites are, what type of satellites are placed, sorry. Then middle Earth orbit, what type of satellites are placed in middle Earth orbit. Then geostationary Earth orbit, what type of orbits are placed in the geostationary Earth orbit. Why there only? Why not some other places, some other orbits? So this is how it is. So trust me, if you then Kester Syndrome. What is this Kessler Syndrome or space debris problem? Who proposed this space junk related problem? How much of space junk is there in the outer space? What will be the status of space junk in the future? It is going to increase. Then if it increase, what are the threats to the existing working communication satellites? Then all these things we will try to understand in the Kessler Syndrome. Then what is Mission Shakti or anti-satellite missile test of Government of India? Actually that is part of defense technologies, but I will give some introduction here when I am teaching the Kester Syndrome. Okay, so understand this very clearly. So this is the space technology, theoretical part. Then after understanding all these things, then you will have a total knowledge about what is PSLV, what is GSLV, what is the communication satellite, what is the remote sensing satellite, what is the navigation satellite, what is the geostationary Earth orbit, what are these orbits. First of all, this is all the basics theoretical part. Then after understanding the theory, you go for application. So what are the ISRO or Indian Space Agency, Indian Space Research Organization, Indian Space Agency, ISRO, okay, how this particular applications, okay, theoretical concepts are applied by the ISRO. We will understand them very clearly. And what are the different missions of ISRO? Whether it is the launching of satellites, whether it is launching of satellites of other countries, whether it is launching of satellites related to the weather observation or climate observation, launching of satellites, communication satellites, that is GSAT and INSAT series, what are they, when they were launched, okay, every fact that is useful for both prelims and also the analysis part mains, we will provide in this particular class of space technologies. So total class duration will be definitely greater than 60 hours. There is no doubt about that. 60 hours plus classes will be part of this science and technology. Okay, that means all space, defense, nuclear, computers, everything, communication. It will be definitely give you the 50 marks, okay, in the what you call Telangana State Public Service Commission mains exam. The same time, if some question was asked in the interview of Group 1, you will be confidently answering that question. Understand that very clearly. I will make you to remove your fear of science and technology. That's it. That much assurance I can give to you. I will totally remove the fear of science and technology, fear of space, defense, nuclear technologies from your mind. Understand this very clearly. Fear can be removed only with knowledge. That's it. All your fears can be removed from your mind only with the knowledge. With knowledge, you will get the confidence. With the confidence, you can just move forward in the life, whether it is competitive exam, whether it is anything, whatever it may be. You need knowledge. Knowledge gives you the confidence. Okay, then that confidence is the source of the fearless mind and soul. Understand that very clearly. My goal is to just remove the fear of science and technology from your mind by teaching 60 plus hours of class in the Ashoka Online Academy. Entire science and technology. I have already made a video how I will deal with this particular subject. Do check that particular video, science and technology, in the YouTube channel. If you scroll down, you will get preparation strategy for Group 1 science and technology paper. So you have to journey with me for this particular time period so that you will get the best knowledge about the science and technology. There is no doubt about that. So understand that very clearly. Application, we will see about ISRO. When ISRO was formed, okay, why the ISRO launch vehicle stations are located in the coastal areas, why only the particular places like Sriharikota, okay, then what is the journey of ISRO? What is the journey of ISRO? Who are the eminent personalities who are part of this ISRO organization, like Vikram Sarabhai, or this particular what you have the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So what is their contribution to the ISRO? So how they were able to launch this particular, the first launch vehicle, how they were able to make the first satellite. So interesting facts, interesting stories also I will discuss in the class. There is no doubt about that. See, understand here, nobody has helped the Indian scientist regarding this particular initial days of rocket manufacturing or launch vehicle manufacturing in India. You will be totally surprised. In 1960s, few of the people like Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, they used to sit in the libraries, they used to take the books based on how to manufacture this particular rockets or launch vehicle. They used to study, they used to do some research, they used to develop the prototype, then they used to do some experiments. Finally, after 10 years of hard work, they have first manufactured a small rocket called as the sounding rocket. So what is this sounding rocket? What type of sounding rockets are there with ISRO? And from sounding rockets, how they developed the launch vehicles. I will discuss as part of the launch vehicle topic. All these things, interesting facts, will discuss the journey of ISRO from starting till date. So till date means the recent Chandrayaan 2 program. So Chandrayaan 2 mission, What is the goal of Chandrayaan-2 mission? So why it became partially successful? Okay, so what are the different objectives of Chandrayaan mission? What are the components of the Chandrayaan mission? What type of technologies or instruments are used in the onboard Chandrayaan mission? Why it failed? Okay, why ISRO could not detect the this particular lander which was crash landed on the moon? First of all, why we are interested in moon? First, then how the moon came into existence? Why all the countries are working on the moon? What is there on the moon? How moon is useful for the future missions into the space? All these things we will try to understand in detail. Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2, Gaganyaan mission. So what about the Gaganyaan mission? So Gaganyaan mission objective is to send the humans to the space. So all that things we will discuss as part of the ISRO, Indian application of ISRO. In the application part, we will discuss about ISRO from the date of formation of ISRO to till date what ISRO is doing, everything we will discuss. And we also discuss the international missions, space missions. For example, NASA has launched the Parker Solar Probe to the Sun, the ultimate source of energy to all the life forms on the planet Earth. Every life form on the planet Earth is surviving just because of one single source of energy, that is the Sun. The NASA has launched a mission called as Parker Solar Probe, which will go and touch the Sun and come out with most interesting aspects related to the Sun. We will understand that the beauty of the Sun. So how Sun as a star came into existence, how it is driving the life on the planet Earth, what are the different layers of the Sun, what is sunspot activity cycle, okay, all the mysteries behind the Sun, the unsolved questions behind the Sun. Okay, what are this particular what you call the solar flares that are coming from the Sun, and how they will impact the communication satellites and destroy this particular communication systems on board the communication satellites. Solar flares, what are they? We will try to understand them. So like that, we will try to explore the Mars missions. Okay, India has launched the Mangalyaan mission, Mars orbiter mission. Then the US has launched different missions to the Mars. Okay, recently, okay, the recent Mars missions, okay, all these things we will understand. Now Japan is trying to focus on one of the asteroid that is very much near to the planet Earth, called as asteroid Bennu. So what is this asteroid Bennu? Why Japan is focusing on the asteroids? What is asteroid belt? Where it is present in the solar system? Okay, how asteroid belt is created? What is the largest asteroid in our solar system? All these things we will try to understand as part of the international missions. Trust me, the way you understand the things will totally change after this particular learning the concepts in this particular subject. That is the advantage with my classes. So understand this very clearly. Something we discuss okay, from the basics. For example, the moon and the moon missions Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-2. We discuss first of all what is moon, how moon came into existence, why all the people are interested in the moon. Then what is the moon treaty? What is the moon treaty? So there is a treaty called as moon treaty. So what is this moon treaty, which is introduced by United Nations General Assembly? What it is saying? It is saying that moon should be used only for peaceful purposes. No country should explode the nuclear weapons or weapons of mass destruction on the moon. And the moon should be used for the common it is the common heritage of mankind, and it should be used for the common good of all the mankind on the planet Earth. So all these things we will understand about the moon. So that is how, when we discuss about the missions related to Sun, we discuss first what is Sun Understand that when we discuss about missions to the asteroid, we also discuss about some of the facts related to the asteroids. Okay, we have the international mission called as Voyager 1, and Voyager 2. So what are these Voyager 1 and Voyager 2? These are the first man-made objects that has crossed our solar system. From 1970s to 2021, almost for more than 40 years they have journeyed, and recently they have crossed the solar system. On the Voyager 1 and 2, the NASA has kept the what you call a radio, some maps and photographs, okay, some chocolates and other items on this particular satellite. Why? Because this particular Voyager 1 and 2, they are just going into the space. If at all in future some aliens detect this particular Voyager 1 and 2, they will come to know that the humans are living on the planet Earth. Okay, that is what the goal of Voyager 1 and 2 is, just going okay into the space. That's it. And you know that they are working, they are successfully working right now. Also we are taking this class now. Also the Voyager 1 and 2 are sending the communication signals that where they are there in the space, this vast cosmos, where they are located. So understand this very clearly. They have taken the photograph of the Saturn. The first photograph of the Saturn is taken by Voyager 1 and 2. The photograph of the Earth is taken from the Jupiter, where the Earth appears like a small dot, a pale blue dot. In the vast cosmos, it will appear a small blue dot. So what is that image taken by the Voyager 1 and 2 as per the instruction of the NASA? So we will see all of them as part of the international application space missions. Definitely good subject, interesting subject. Now this is the thing here. Now let us understand so this is how I proceed with the space technologies. So after that I deal the defense technologies, then nuclear technologies, nuclear reactors, then computer technologies and the communication technologies. Okay, then we discuss about nanotechnology. Okay, what is nanotechnology? All those things we'll try to discuss in detail as per your syllabus, strictly as per your Group 1 syllabus. So let us start the science and technology, space technology class. First thing is that what is a rocket? First we'll try to understand what is the rocket. So what is the space technologies? The technologies that were developed by the mankind or humans to explore the space. The technologies that are developed by the mankind to explore the space and utilize these technologies to make to bring the good benefits to the mankind, that is called as the space technologies. As part of space technologies, I told you some of the basics of what we discussed. Let us understand simply about what is a rocket. So all of you know about the rocket, right? So how the rocket will be? It will be like this. Okay, I hope I am not wrong. This is how the rocket will be. Whether it is the rocket which you ignite during the Diwali festival, or the rocket that is ignited by the ISRO to launch the satellites into the space, they have the same shape. One is small, other is big. Understand that very clearly. So what is a rocket? What is the purpose of rocket? The purpose of rocket is very simple. It is used to place the satellites. In different type of orbits. It may be low Earth orbit, middle Earth orbit, or the geostationary Earth orbit. So what is a rocket? A rocket is also called as a launch vehicle. A rocket is also called as a space launch vehicle. A rocket contains the fuel, and the front portion of the rocket comprises of the satellite. Whenever the fuel is burnt in the rocket will go up, and it will place the satellite in the respective or designated orbit. That is the basic understanding of the rocket. Rocket is also called as a launch vehicle. Rocket comprises of the fuel. Rocket comprises of the fuel, and the rocket, the front portion of the rocket has the satellite. Whenever the rocket fuel is burnt, the rocket will go up and it will just place the satellite in the designated orbit. That is the purpose of the rocket. Understand that very clearly. Okay. So this is the rocket. So see here, rocket, it is also called as space launch vehicle. It is also called as space launch vehicle, or simply the launch vehicle. Launch vehicle. What it is launching? What it is launching? It is launching the satellite into the space. Now see here, rocket is something which carry its own fuel and oxidizer or oxygen with it for burning the fuel. Understand this very clearly. Okay. So see here, you have a rocket. You have a rocket. Rocket comprises of fuel. Rocket comprises of satellite in the front portion. And rocket also comprises of oxidizer. Now see here, the oxidizer that is there inside the rocket, it is used to burn the fuel. It is used to burn the fuel. When the fuel is burned, what will happen? Huge amount of gases will become out from this particular rocket. So what will happen? These gases that are coming out of the rocket, back end of the rocket or launch vehicle, they exert lot of thrust. So what do you mean by thrust? They exert lot of thrust, THRUST, on the ground. So when they exert a lot of thrust on the ground, simply what will happen? The rocket will be moving up. Understand this very clearly. Okay, so this is what I have written here. Rocket is something, or launch vehicle is something which carry its own fuel and oxidizer or oxygen with it. Oxidizer is nothing but the oxygen, okay, or any other chemical compound which is used to burn the fuel. Whenever the fuel is burned inside the rocket, huge volume of gases will be released from the bottom of the rocket, and that will generate a lot of thrust, and that thrust, okay, gives the forward push to the rocket to go to the greater heights and release the satellite in the orbits. So understand that very clearly. So see here. So just understand here, rocket is something which carries its own fuel and oxidizer, that is the or oxygen with it for burning the fuel. Understand that very clearly. Rocket comprises of fuel, it comprises of oxidizer. The oxidizer can be oxygen here. The oxidizer is used to burn the fuel. When the fuel is burned, huge amount of gases are released from the rocket that will generate the thrust. Okay, that means the gases will come and hit the what you call the earth, and with that, when the gases are coming and hitting the earth surface, the forward push is generated, and that forward push will just lift the rocket up. Understand that very clearly. Now see here, rocket is a non-air breathing system. Rocket is a non-air breathing system. Understand this? Now, what is this? Rocket uses the oxidizer, for example, oxygen stored inside it to burn the fuel. That is what I have said. Rocket is non-air breathing. That means it does not take the oxygen from the surrounding atmosphere and burn the fuel. To burn the fuel, you need the oxygen. Understand that very clearly. Understand that very clearly. You cannot lit a candle, okay, in the vacuum. The candle is lighted or it is burning because of the oxygen in the natural environment. Same thing, any fuel will burn because of the oxygen. Understand that very clearly, or an oxidizer, that may be any chemical. So understand this very clearly. It is non-air breathing. That means launch vehicles or rockets, they carry their own oxygen or oxidizer with them. They don't take the oxygen from the atmosphere. First of all, what is the purpose of oxygen? It is used to burn the fuel. When they burn the fuel, oxygen is used to burn the fuel. The gases are coming out. It will give the forward push to the rocket or launch vehicle. That is what I am saying here. So see here, for example, we have the PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. It is also called as PSLV rocket. Understand this very clearly. Rocket is nothing but the launch vehicle. Launch vehicle is nothing but the rocket. Understand this very clearly. Are you understanding what I am saying? So this is how it is. So PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, also called as PSLV rocket, it places the satellites in the polar orbits. It places the satellites in the polar orbit. This is Earth. Polar orbit means, see here, this is the polar orbit. That means the satellite will just move from pole to pole every day. Pole to pole. This is the Earth. The satellite will move from pole to pole every day like this. This is the polar orbit. Also the low Earth orbit. Understand this very clearly. So this is how it is, very simple. Now let us understand about some other facts about the rocket. So see here, this is the rocket. So see here, rocket works on the principle of see here, rocket. So this is the rocket. So Newton's third law of motion. Rocket works on the principle of Newton's third law of motion. Understand this very clearly. What is this Newton's third law of motion? Very simple. It states that the Newton's third law of motion says that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This everybody knows it. Understand this very clearly. The same thing is applied for rockets. For rockets, the action is the force produced from the nozzle end of a rocket engine. Okay, so this is the action. So what is this action part? Action is nothing but, so see here, rocket is working on the principle of the Newton's third law. So inside the rocket you have the fuel. Inside the rocket you have the oxidizer. So once again I am saying oxidizer is used to burn the fuel. Without oxidizer the fuel will not be burned. So it can be oxygen, example, it can be an oxygen, or it can be any other chemical, oxidizer chemical. Understand this very clearly, which will ignite the what you call burning in the fuel. So see here, and here this part you have the satellite. Here in the front part you have the satellite, and this entire setup you call it as the rocket, or you call it as the launch vehicle. So rockets comprising of the fuel, they are comprising of oxidizer. The oxidizer is used to burn the fuel. The oxidizer can be an oxygen, or it can be simply any other chemical compound that is used to burn the fuel. Understand that very clearly. So these rockets or launch vehicles, they work on the principle of Newton's third law, which says that for every action there will be equal and opposite reaction. So what is the action here? For rockets, the action is the force that is produced from the nozzle end of a rocket engine. So this is the action, that is the force that is produced from the end of the rocket whenever the fuel is burned inside the rocket. So see here, this is the action. What Newton's third law is saying, for every action there will be opposite and equal reaction. Means what? Huge amount of gases were coming out in short time, then what will happen? A force, that is action, and that will generate the equal and opposite reaction. So because of this particular equal and opposite reaction, the rocket will be just moving into the space like this. And whenever it is moving into the space, when it reaches the designated orbit, it will release the satellite. The ground stations, the scientists at the ground station, they take the control of the satellite. Slowly they will place it in the designated orbit, low Earth orbit or polar orbit or any orbit, geostationary Earth orbit. This is how it is. So see here, the reaction force propels the rocket in the opposite direction. That is what I have said. Here the action is huge amount of gases coming out because of the burning of the fuel, and that action generates equal reaction in opposite direction. Because of that, the rocket is going up. Understand that very clearly. So see here, the force is exerted on the planet Earth's surface because of the burning of the hot gases, and an equal force is generated in the opposite direction. Okay, that force is acting on the rocket so that the rocket is moving up. This is how it is. Understand this very clearly. So what you have understood here, the rocket is something which carry its own fuel and oxidizer. Here the important points are fuel, here it is oxidizer, or this can be oxygen. Okay, also for burning the fuel inside the rocket. Rocket is a non-air breathing system. That means it will not take the air from the atmosphere. It will just utilize the oxidizer and just move up. And the rocket uses the oxidizer stored inside it to burn the fuel. Just how I told you. Example, Pslv, and Pslv rocket places the satellite in polar orbits. Now you may get a doubt. What are the fuels that are used in this particular Pslv? So see here, what are fuels used in the Pslv? So just understand here, Pslv, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, is a 4-stage launch vehicle. It is a 4-stage launch vehicle. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 4. Final stage, here you have the satellite. Here you have the satellite. This is the front portion, you have the satellite here. So understand this very clearly. Understand this very clearly. In the stage 1, they will use the solid fuel. In the stage 2, they use the liquid fuel. The stage 3, they use the solid fuel. In the stage 4, they use the again liquid fuel in the Pslv rocket. So understand this very clearly. Each stage comprises of fuel and also the oxidizer Simply if you consider each stage like this as one single chamber, in this you have 2 sub chambers. One is having fuel, other is having the oxidizer. The oxidizer is used to burn the fuel. When the fuel is burned, simply the gases will be coming out. That gases are the action part and they exert lot of force on the earth's surface. And because of that, an opposite and equal reaction take place. Because of that, the rocket will be going up. This is the same thing I have discussed here. And the Pslv rocket, it is a non-air breathing. Pslv rocket is a non-air breathing. Why it is non-air breathing? Why? Because it is not taking the oxidizer or oxygen from the atmosphere and burning the fuel and moving forward. It is taking its own oxidizer with it to burn the fuel. That's why it is non-air breathing. Understand that very clearly. Whereas a jet plane is air breathing. What do you mean by air breathing? Jet plane will have fuel and that fuel is burned. Whenever the jet plane is moving forward, it will take the oxygen from the atmosphere, utilize it as an oxidizer, and with that oxidizer or oxygen, it will burn the fuel. Same thing, when the fuel is burned, huge amount of gases will come out and the jet plane will move forward horizontally. But rockets are moving vertically top. That is the thing here. Understand these things very clearly, very, very important. Okay. So let us move forward. I hope you are understanding. Okay. So understand here, this is the rocket. Newton's third law of motion, okay, is applied for the working of the rockets, which states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Here action is, okay, the force produced. Here the important keyword is the force produced because of the burning of gases. That is the action. And that force generates equal reaction in opposite direction. That is the what will take the rocket to a greater height and release the satellite in the orbit. So understand these things very, very clearly. Now what about a jet plane? So we will come to know more about this particular fuels in the types of fuels topic. Jet plane. So see here, this is the jet plane, right? So jet plane, okay. So for example, we have the Indian Air Force. Indian Air Force has the Rafale fighter jet. Rafale fighter jet or Rafale jet plane. Rafale jet plane is there. So how these jet planes are working and what is the difference between the rocket or launch vehicle and a jet plane? So see here, jet plane is a air breathing mode of rocket technology. That means same rocket and jet planes belongs to same technology. But the thing is that the rocket is non-air breathing, whereas jet plane is a air breathing system, Jet plane is a air breathing mode of rocket technology. Understand this. Now, jet engines are air breathers, of course, same point. Now, see here. Now, how the jet plane will work? Same thing, again Newton's third law of motion, but in the horizontal direction they will apply to the jet planes. Jet plane will have fuel, no doubt about that. Okay, so what will happen? The jet plane, it will not carry the oxygen, it will not carry the oxidizer like the rocket is carrying. Understand that? Jet plane, it will take the atmospheric oxygen, and use it as an oxidizer to burn the fuel. When the fuel is burnt, huge amount of gases will be generated at the back, and what will happen? This is action. So because of this particular action, as per the Newton's third law, an equal and opposite reaction should be generated, and that is the force, okay, which will push the jet plane forward, and the jet plane will move forward. It will move forward like this. So very simple. Understand this. Jet plane use atmospheric oxygen for combustion of the fuel. Why combustion of fuel? Why? Because when you burn the fuel, the gases will be coming out. That is the action, and it will generate the equal and opposite reaction, because of which the jet plane will move forward very fast. That is the thing here. Now see here, jet plane is an air breathing mode of rocket technology. Means what? The launch vehicle technology and jet plane technology both are same. But the thing is that, okay, this particular launch vehicle technology, just if you do some engineering changes and technological changes, you can manufacture the jet planes. Understand that very clearly. But the difference is, the rocket carries its own fuel and its own oxidizer, but jet plane carries only the fuel. And what about the oxidizer? Why? Because you require oxidizer to burn the fuel. So jet plane here utilizes the atmospheric oxygen as an oxidizer to burn the fuel. When it burns the fuel, huge amount of gases will be coming out. That is the action, and they generate the force in opposite direction that will push this particular jet plane forward. So this is how it is. It uses atmospheric oxygen for combustion of fuel. Why combustion of fuel? To generate the thrust, the forward push. Okay, oxidizer is a type. No, oxygen is used as a oxidizer, right? Here in the jet plane, oxidizer, I told you, it is a type of chemical, okay, which fuel requires to burn, or which is used to burn the fuel. So examples of oxidizers are oxygen and the nitrogen tetroxide used by ISRO in Pslv. So this is about the jet planes. I hope you are understanding these things. So understand these things very clearly. Jet plane, now we will try to understand about the types of fuels. So see here. So is there any confusion? I hope it is not there. Why? Because it is very clear. So just I am giving an overview here. So see here, just I will give you an overview. So rocket versus jet plane. So see here, first point is, rocket is carrying its own fuel and it is carrying its own oxidizer to burn the fuel, whereas jet plane, it is carrying only fuel, it is not taking with it any oxidizer. Understand this very clearly. Then rocket is a non-air breathing system, whereas jet plane is a air breathing system. Understand this very clearly, air breathing system. And the Newton's third law of motion applies to the functioning of rocket. Same Newton's third law is applied for the functioning of the jet plane. The rockets, they move in the what you call the vertical direction. Whereas the jet planes, they move in the horizontal direction. They move in the horizontal direction, right? Now, rockets, they are useful for the launching of satellites into the orbits, right? Then jet planes, they are useful in the what you call air defense. They are useful in the air defense. Indian Air Force using the what you call Rafale jet planes. Why? Air defense of India. Now, the rocket, it can travel beyond our atmosphere and enter into the space, right? The rocket can travel in the space by crossing the troposphere. It will enter into the space. But what about jet plane? Jet plane travel only in the atmosphere. It cannot go into the space. That is the limitation of jet plane. So this is the difference between the rocket and jet plane. Once again, just see the video, you will understand it. No doubt about that. Okay. So see here, let us understand about the types of fuels used in the rockets. We are saying fuels. What is the purpose of fuel? Just now I told you, fuel is used to burn, and when it is burnt, the gases are released, and that gases are action, and they generate equal reaction of the forward push to lift the rocket or launch vehicle. Alright, let us understand about the types of fuels used in the rocket. So see here, the fuels in the rockets, they are also called as propellant. So what do you mean by propellant? Propellant means propelling. Dictionary meaning is moving forward. The fuel is seeing or ensuring that the rocket is moving forward. That is called as the propellant. Okay, understand that very clearly. So what is propellant? What is the fuel? So what are the types of fuels? What are the different types of fuels? We have solid, liquid, solid and hybrid. How you measure the efficiency of a fuel, rocket fuel? I mean, how you say which fuel is very good? Okay, that is called as, that measuring is called as specific impulse. So what is the specific impulse? It measures the efficiency of the rocket fuels. All this we will try to understand. Very simple topic. So see here, understand this very clearly. So propellant is a chemical mixture burned to produce the thrust in rockets and consists of fuel and oxidizer. So propellant, so what it is doing, it is burned. Okay, it is a chemical mixture burned to produce the thrust. So what is the thrust? This is the forward push. I told you, to produce the forward push. That means you are burning the propellant in the rocket. It is generating the forward push. It is giving the forward push to the rocket. That is called as the burner to produce the thrust in rockets and consists of fuel and oxidizer. I told you, fuel requires the oxidizer to burn. Together, the fuel and oxidizer is called as propellant, like that. Okay. Now, a fuel is a substance that burns when combined with oxygen, producing gases for propulsion purpose or the forward push. Okay. Now, what is an oxidizer? It is an agent that releases the oxygen for combination with a fuel or for combustion of the fuel. It is not combination, it is for combustion. It is for combustion of the fuel. I told you, oxidizer, it is a chemical substance or an oxygen to to ignite the fuel. Without oxygen, the fuel will not be ignited. You cannot lit a candle in a vacuum environment. You require air or the oxygen to burn the candle. Understand that very clearly. So this is the thing. The fuel burns when combined with oxygen, producing the gas for propulsion. An oxidizer releases oxygen for combustion with the fuel or triggering combustion with the fuel. Now, propellants are classified according to their state, in which state they are, as part solid, liquid fuels, solid fuels and the hybrid fuels. Hybrid fuels, example can be a cryogenic engine, like that. Now see here, these points are very important, 5 and 6. The gauge or the rating the efficiency of rocket propellants is called as the specific impulse, stated in second. So see here, the gauge or the measuring value, okay, for rating the efficiency of rocket propellants. So which type of propellant is efficient? Whether solid fuel is efficient, liquid fuel is efficient, hybrid fuel is efficient. How you decide that? Based on what is called as the specific impulse, okay, measured or stated in seconds. So what is the specific impulse? Specific impulse indicates how much kilograms of thrust is obtained by combustion of kilograms of propellant in 1 second. Very simple, understand here very clearly. How much amount of specific impulse is defined as how much amount of thrust is generated, how much amount of thrust or forward push is generated by burning 1 kg of fuel in 1 second. That is called as specific impulse. So did you understand that specific impulse, it will measure the efficiency of the rocket, okay, fuel. What do you mean by specific impulse? It means how much amount of thrust is generated if you burn 1 kg of fuel in 1 second. That is called as specific impulse of the rocket fuel. So see here, the efficiency of rocket propellants is measured in terms of specific impulse stated in seconds. It means how much kgs of thrust is obtained by consuming or burning 1 kg of propellant in 1 second. That is how much amount of thrust or forward push is generated by burning the 1 kg of fuel or 1 kg for fuel per second is called as specific impulse. So understand that very clearly. Okay, that means if you are burning 1 kg of liquid fuel, and with that 1 kg of liquid fuel, the rocket is moving to greater heights. If you are burning 10 kg of solid fuel, the rocket is not going to greater heights. That means the liquid fuel is having more specific impulse or more efficient compared to the solid fuel. Just example I am saying. So here what we do is, here we will stop here we will stop, and tomorrow we will take I will take one more separate class on the types of fuels used in the rocket. I will discuss about the solid fuels, I will discuss about liquid and the cryogenic engines in detail. I will discuss. Why? Because the class has reached the 1 hour target has reached. So tomorrow I will discuss the types of fuel. So if you have any doubts, you can call to the Ashoka sir. Okay, he will give my number. Okay, you can talk to me also, no problem. So regarding this subject, this is how we proceed. I hope you understood. So if you like it, please do, okay, like this particular YouTube video and share your comments, okay, so that we will align our teaching methods according to your requirements. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. I am Avinash. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.